So we are here, once again, talking about Spring Bonnie and William Afton, which I guess leads me into the fact that I got to apologize for this video, because, well, even though we're talking about Spring Bonnie and William Afton in this, and this is going to be their definitive lore video for the franchise, in addition to everything else for FNAF for Dummies, well, we have an interesting dilemma here, and that's because Spring Bonnie and William Afton need to be brought up, much like with the 5 missing kids, in every part of the series. And once again, because I mentioned the 5 missing kids, YouTube is not going to let this video be seen by a majority of people, but whatever, it's the lore we're going over. I literally have blood-stained animatronics in the background for footage for this, so yeah, YouTube, I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to the somewhat definitive lore of William Afton. Hope you're ready for this wild ride. On a crazy train. Man, that was cringe. But overall, the story of William Afton starts in a very debatable period. Almost fucked up my speech there. But William Afton's story starts somewhere between the 1930s and, say, the 1950s. Because realistically, he has to be born first for him to have his kids, and yada yada yada. So, William Afton is debatably the oldest character in the series, I would argue. Unless you want to argue Fredbear is older, because Fredbear is a concept potentially borrowed from something else. But what that something else is very highly debated. There are several theories on where William Afton got the idea for Fredbear during the 30s, 40s, 50s, sometime during that span. A lot of people go with Matt Pat's theory of, oh, it must have been a traveling circus show because these posters. But overall, I really don't know if that's ever been confirmed. I'll be honest. Especially when you consider the fact that some things that the circus show claimed the bear could do was literally impossible for a bear to do. I understand nowadays we have shows for animals where we show them doing things they can't do, and it's all human manipulation and electronics in the background making the noises and stuff like that. But overall, you're really pushing my believability that someone in the 1930s, 40s-ish would have came up with all these fancy routines to trick the public into thinking a real bear was doing half the things the bear was doing. So while overall I do credit Matt Pat for actually putting the theory together, because it is a solid theory, because overall we have nothing else to go off of for that. But where William Afton actually got the idea for Fredbear, completely debatable. Completely debatable to this day. And obviously at some point he would meet his wife and kids, but the important part of that whole thing is he figured out Fredbear, man. He figured out Fredbear. And that's where we also come into the next part of, was Fredbear a hand-stitched costume? Was Bonnie a hand-stitched costume? And that's also where the problem is, the only real evidence we have is a Matt Pat theory. Because again, while Matt Pat is really solid at putting together these theories, and I thoroughly believe he actually figured out a good majority of the timeline, well, we need confirmation. We need confirmation. And unfortunately, all we have for confirmation for any of that is Glitch Trap. So, whether or not William Afton was playing, Fredbear in costume form, I don't know. We don't know. If you want to believe in the Matt Pat theory, that's fine. If you don't want to believe in the Matt Pat theory, that's also fine. Really, it doesn't affect the lore. Reality is, somehow, he managed to get this restaurant to be successful. He met Henry Emily, and then, well, we all know where this goes. And sorry that we're going to be bringing up Matt Pat in a lot of this, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, again, he really is genuinely a genius when it comes to the lore behind this. The problem is people have fashioned so many of their own theories based off Matt Pat theories, and then those theories have become normal in the community that when I inevitably address them, guess who we're going to have to directly talk about? Yeah. Hopefully, I won't have to, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do. But the meeting of Henry Emily is really where things kick off, because at any point in time, honestly, if stuff ended here, we wouldn't have a series. But meeting Henry Emily is what makes everything possible. Why do I say that? A lot of people are probably like, well, you need William Afton, obviously, to start the whole timeline. No, because the reality is, well, anybody could come up with the idea for people in costumes, basically. I know we have no confirmation of that, but hey, anybody can come up with the idea of an animal-themed restaurant, okay? Let's be clear here. Anyone can come up with that. But to have the engineering capability to make robots and animatronics, especially during the early 60s and 70s, somewhere during this time period, again, it's all ambiguous, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Like, meeting Henry Emily is what will make events later completely possible. And I guess this is where I also gotta mention, here's the lore video for Henry Emily too, because if I, make a separate video for Henry Emily, there'll be no point in all this. But regardless, Henry Emily liked the idea of the restaurant so much, he took things a step further. He said, Afton, you know those mascots? Let's make them real. And then this is where we get the animatronics / springlock suits. And then this is where things are gonna get messed up, screwed up. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. Things are inevitably gonna get screwed up for the whole lot of us in this one. And the making of these suits would go normal for the longest time. Not really much of anything would happen. We have some rumors of springlock failures, but only rumors, so nothing confirmed. And overall, that's probably a good thing, because if I hear any more about springlock failures and any more holes in the whole how did the springlock accident happen, I don't need any more theories of people getting stuffed into springlock suits or willingly putting on springlock suits and getting impaled by springlock suits. I know we love it with William Afton, but it's disgusting, and I really don't want to witness that for the rest of my life with this series. Thank you very much. But obviously, things would go awry one day, because we all know about the lovely bite of 83. This is the thing that has driven the series for the longest time, and I do mean the longest time. The bite of 83 is kind of horrible. What do I mean kinda? It's really horrible. And so you remember Afton's wife and kids? Well, the wife makes the kids, and well, the kids got into some fucked up shit. The bite of 83 was all the result of basically a bullying incident. Michael Afton, the eldest son of William Afton, would take Crying Child, and we call him Crying Child because a lot of people debate if his name is Evan or Norman. I don't know why people have a debate on what his name is. If anybody can answer that, put it in the comments below. I just know people flop between calling him Evan or Norman, even though I believe his name is Evan, but I'm just going to stick with calling him Crying Child or Cece. Well, he would take Crying Child, and there's a reason why he's called Crying Child. He was horribly afraid of the animatronics. He didn't like the springlock suits. He didn't like how any of them looked. He thought they were very much uncanny valley, so to speak, which they are. And overall, things would get pretty bizarre on his end. He would frequently, and this is where I have to put in air quotes here, air quotes everybody, because you can put Michael or Crying Child in this when I say this, because people debate on if it's Michael Afton suffering from the nightmares in FNAF 4, and some people debate if it's Crying Child or a combination of both. But overall, they would suffer nightmares of the animatronics for probably weeks on end. In terms of gameplay, we only suffer it for a week, but it wouldn't surprise me if an actual lore extended anyway. Again, we only try to cover core lore here. That this probably went on for weeks, or maybe months, maybe a year. Years? Who knows? You see, the reality is we heavily debate how old Crying Child was, and we heavily debate how old Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, or in this case Fredbear's Family Diner, was around before Crying Child was born, or if it was around for as long as he was alive. So we really don't know when his fear of the animatronics started, and we really don't know when the nightmare animatronics started to come alive, basically. It's a really unfortunate thing where we don't have an entry for it, really, without going into extended lore. That kind of muddles the whole series. And again, extended lore is cool and all, but I want to try and keep this basic for everybody. So, yeah. As an end result of being afraid of the animatronics, the fear, the paranoia, Michael started hating the animatronics. Crying Child was afraid of them. And then there's another person in all this we're going to leave out for now. Michael would have enough of it, and so would Crying Child. Crying Child in a much more unfortunate way. Michael took his anger out on all of this on Crying Child, basically told Fredbear to go royally screw himself, and shoved Crying Child's head into the mouth of Fredbear. And this is where we gotta debate if it was a spring lock accident or an animatronic suit accident. People debate it was an animatronic stuck on performance mode, and some people debate that was a spring lock failure, and the gears were slipping, and everything was going awry in that regard. But no matter which side of that debate you're on, even though I flop between both sides, the reality is that Crying Child would meet his end. Kind of. You see, for a little while after Fredbear's mouth would fail and crush his head, well, obviously William Afton would see this, and this would start a whole world of suffering for Michael Afton, but we'll get into that later. Crying Child would be taken to hospital. It's believed by the community anyway, and I will go off of the community this time because we have nothing else better to point to, that he was in a coma for maybe around a week, and that's why we believe that possibly Crying Child was the one in FNAF 4. And then we have the other reason believing that Michael was getting punished so severely because of the bite of A3, both mentally and physically, by his father, that for a full week he was basically hallucinating the animatronics. But that's a different story. And honestly, we don't even have a confirmation of that. Again, you can really put Crying Child or Michael in the point of FNAF 4 and it still makes sense. It happened. And William Afton, as Crying Child was passing away, would probably make the worst promise of his life. And that promise was, I would put you back together again. And by putting him back together, well, this is where we get into both FNAF 5 and the early events of FNAF 2, and then the extended events of FNAF 1. I know that's a hell of a way to break it down for you all, but that's basically what happens here. William Afton will begin to open up Circus Baby's Pizza. And as a result of opening up Circus Baby's Pizza as a side hustle to Fredbear's Family Diner while it was closed, he wanted to figure out how to put his son back together again. And so he started making animatronics that basically mimicked humans, literally. Although this would still be Fredbear, we would have Circus Baby, obviously, Ballora, Funtime Foxy. Well, they were even more uncanny than the last batch. And it's obvious what William Afton was trying to get at. He wanted his family back, because Michael doing what he did to Crying Child resulted in basically his whole family being destroyed, because his wife would leave him, Michael would basically be in jail to my understanding, and, well, his daughter got taken away. Mostly. That's right, we haven't mentioned Elizabeth yet, and for good reason. This is when she technically gets introduced into the series. We don't know for sure which one happened first, but it was a combination of both. We believe, however, one definitely could have happened much later for one key reason, but I don't really want to bring it up because it's kind of moot to this whole thing and I need to bring it up anyway. William Afton would either witness Circus Baby kidnapping Elizabeth, or, well, he witnessed his son inside of Fredbear. We don't know which one caused which. We believe strongly, however, that he witnessed his son inside Fredbear first because, well, the Funtime animatronics are designed to kidnap children. Very clearly so. And, well, what would be the point in having robots designed to kidnap children if you didn't have an idea of what to do with said children? You get what I'm saying? So, even though we have no confirmation, it is believed that Afton witnessed his son's soul inside Fredbear, the animatronic that killed him, and he then designed Circus Baby and the other animatronics to kidnap people. Mostly children. Now again, we don't know that for sure. There's no solid confirmation, but we strongly have a belief that that's what happened as a community, and that's horrifying. Because, well, Elizabeth gets kidnapped. And after Elizabeth gets kidnapped, this is what literally basically ensures that the death nail is put in and that the rest of the series is going to happen no matter what. Because, again, this is unfortunately a thing of if Afton just stopped, it would have been fine. Had the story just stopped, it would have mostly been fine. But it won't be for a lot of people. Because once Afton witnesses the fact that souls can work in animatronics, man. And this is where I have to mention the fact we are now in FNAF 2 in the timeline. And well, oh boy, oh buddy, how? During all these events, Henry Emily was still in the picture. And, well, he obviously still had a living to make. So he reluctantly opened up another location, but this time called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And this is where we get the toy animatronics. And I apologize because this is going to throw the whole mood off, but I gotta do the meme here, folks. Save the children! And that's where we get the toy animatronics. And they would be designed specifically to, well, save the children. And William Afton didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. Obviously because, well, he lost his own kids to animatronics. Not once, but twice. Second time being his own fault, however. And, well, he would start some things. And this is where I have to mention the fact we are now in FNAF 2 in the timeline. And, well, oh boy, oh buddy, how? During all these events, Henry Emily was still in the picture. And, well, he obviously still had a living to make. So he reluctantly opened up another location, but this time called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And this is where we get the toy animatronics. And I apologize because this is going to throw the whole mood off, but I gotta do the meme here, folks. Save the children! And that's where we get the toy animatronics. And they would be designed specifically to, well, save the children. And William Afton didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. Obviously because, well, he lost his own kids to animatronics, not once, but twice. Second time being his own fault, however. And, well, he would start some things. These guys like props, right? I hope you like props. Well, this is when we have to talk about the unfortunate part of Henry Emily had a daughter. And the little daughter, unfortunately, loved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And as a result, when William Afton came back one day in a drunken rage from losing his own daughter, poor old Charlotte Emily would get the axe. Or, in my case, the halberd. She would be dragged, and yeah, I'm not going to hold that thing for the rest of the video. She would be dragged to the back alley, and, well, so to speak. Yeah, we'll go with that. And as a result, the puppet would come trying to, as part of the whole toy animatronic line, trying to save the children. It would fail in the rain next to Charlotte, and Charlotte's soul would be in the puppet. And this is what starts the man behind the slaughter, truly. The death of Charlotte Emily is what literally throws everything into full circle. Because now we have gone from somebody who has lost people, someone who attempted to take people and failed and got the wrong person, to someone who has successfully taken the right person. We have watched the full transformation of man into monster. And there's no stopping the man behind the slaughter. Because, well, he always comes back. And as a result of his always coming back, he would don an older suit, Spring Bonnie, and you know what happens next. Not that yet. We're getting there. But he would go on to take the lives of 5 more. And then some. The true number of people he took is debatable, but we mostly agree there definitely was 5 missing kids. Those much we can agree on, although there definitely needs to be more than 5, but we aren't going into that whole fiasco again. Donning the yellow Spring Bonnie suit, he would go on a slaughter, and then he would stuff the bodies into the animatronics for further study. From what we can gather from the lore as a whole anyway. Again, it would help if lovely old Scott could drop a confirmation or two. But regardless, bodies were put into animatronic suits. Animatronic suits went whir. Toy suits go whir. And then we had Mangle killing off Jeremy Fitzgerald in the bite of 87. I told you. You didn't know we were in 1987. You thought we were probably in the 1984 or something? No. Welcome to the bite of 87. Everything I spelled out was over the course of that many years. 83 to 87. Yeah, now you know what we mean by this lore can get a little bit wonky and very extensive, and we have to make a lot of assumptions. The fact we have a whole 83 to 87 speaks enough for that. Really does. And then, this is where we have to jump forward a little bit, because Spring Bonnie would get hauled away, put into storage, so Afton could never use Spring Bonnie again, because again, this is a suit that would always remain on site. And, well, honestly, Afton was also trying to pin it on other employees, so that's why he also just left it there anyway. It's not that he didn't want people to come looking for him, he was also trying to pin the blame on somebody else. Literally anybody else at that point. Because, well, you would probably get caught faster if the suit was in your house. But regardless, investigations would ensue. They would find nothing. There were slight assumptions it was Afton, but nobody in terms of the police force or the judicial system could really do anything. And then this is where we get into the events of FNAF 1. where the haunted suits are now stalking the hallways, and you're a night guard, and you have to fight against them for 5 nights. 5 nights at Freddy's. And this is where we finally are at the technical start point of everything. Ain't that amazing? We're at the starting point for the games, but we're so deep into the lore already. Ain't that wonderful? And this is where we have to talk about the unfortunate thing of we would only find out the lore I'm talking about in FNAF 3. But this section of the lore happened during FNAF 1. That's a very important thing to note, because there's a noticeable time gap between FNAF 1 and FNAF 3 in terms of the lore timeline. In fact, it's believed you're in the late 90s to early 2000s during the events of FNAF 3. So, there's quite a time gap. But we wouldn't learn about these events of FNAF 1 until FNAF 3, where William Afton came to the FNAF 1 location for the first time in his life, dismantled the suits for something we're not going to talk about because it's really not vital, but just know he would dismantle the suits for something. But that something would result in the animatronic souls, the dead children, being free. And then when he came back for more of what he needed, we'll let that be ambiguous because it doesn't matter right now and it will overcomplicate the shit out of this video. He would become locked inside. He would finally become Springtrap. And this is when he truly becomes the man behind the slaughter. It's scary how, for a character, there are so many starts to what he truly is. For most characters, it's a continuous line, but for William Afton, you can establish for each part of the lore up until this point, it's for a reason, and he did this for a reason. Like, each segment was a start of this new personality coming into place, the start of a new person you see in front of you at that immediate moment. And once William Afton is locked inside, it's completed. We finally have our monster. We finally have our villain. We finally have Springtrap. And during FNAF 3, obviously, he would terrorize you once again. But this is where I have to reveal something. During this whole time, well, for FNAF 2 anyway, it was only for 2 nights. But you, during this whole time, were looking for William Afton. That's right. FNAF 5, you were looking for him. FNAF 2, 1, now 3, you were looking for him. You wanna know why? Because you, this whole time, were playing as Michael Afton. That's right. He came back. He got out of jail at some point, and he came back for one purpose: to put a stop to his father, William Afton. And during FNAF 3, Michael Afton would burn the building to the ground in an attempt to take his father's life for the final time. But unfortunately, he always comes back. And this is where we would get into Pizzeria Simulator, the next game. And we would discover that fire was actually the key, but we didn't do it right. You see, fire kills off certain something that binds souls to the suits. Again, we don't want to go off the deep end, but just know there's a substance in there that binds souls in the suits. And certain temperatures kill off that substance. And during Pizzeria Simulator, you trick the burnt remnants of Afton to wander through, and you finish the job. You kill them off. And you actually do technically kill them off, because after this point, we have to get into Glitch Trap. And it's also important to note at this point too, however, Michael Afton and Henry Emily have both passed in the fire as well because they took their lives, not wanting the story of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to be known. But Afton always comes back somehow. And although the physical body was destroyed, and although there wasn't much left, there was something left. They recovered his brain, his circuit boards, all the various parts of the suit that was still there. They ran it through a machine, and that's where we got Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap from this point would over time take over people's minds through the system. And well, he would eventually form a new body, the physical version of Glitch Trap, a new spring trap, so to speak, using a combination of his burned up corpse, the old Spring Bonnie suit, and, well, newer parts somewhat. The unfortunate thing is, however, this is where our lore ends. Because everything else up until this point is speculation, doesn't add anything of value, and overall, it's my video, so I decide where the lore ends. Just kidding. In all reality, this is seriously where all vital and core lore of the Afton family is needed to be mentioned, because everything else past this point is technically not even the Aftons anymore. It's just the corporation. And while I do love me a good old corrupt corpo story, we're here for the core lore, and we're here for the man behind the slaughter, and we're here for the 5 missing kids. We're here for Crying Child, we're here for Evan, we're here for Michael, we're here for good old Charlotte Emily. We're here for the characters that started it all, we're here for the core lore, and that's what I want to focus on. I hope you enjoyed this episode of FNAF for Dummies. If you did, you know what to do. If you didn't like it, well, you also know what to do. I have been Johnny Von Duke. I hope you enjoyed this lore video, and I will see you all next time. Man, this is definitely the part of explaining FNAF I have been looking forward to the least. Now, when I started my short series and going out to explain the full necessary core lore of FNAF in the hopes of making a FNAF for Dummies, as you would say, I always knew I would have to explain the lovely substance known as Remnant, that lovely soul-like substance. Here's the thing about explaining Remnant. Other than Ultimate Custom Night, Pizzeria Simulator, and FNAF 5, out of all the FNAF games, those are the only 3 games Remnant is really referenced in. But here comes the tricky part about Remnant. It's been in the series for as long as the series has existed, technically, because Remnant is just the soul in physical form, and we've always understood to a point that most of the animatronics are haunted ever since FNAF 1. So, yeah, this is kind of where we put ourselves in a difficult situation, because technically Remnant's always been in the series, but also technically it's really only extended lore that talks about it. And because we're making a FNAF for Dummies series, this puts me in the difficult position of how do we discuss Remnant on this channel. Now, I initially figured maybe I would make a short, explain it all in 60 seconds, just be like, hey, this is something that's always existed, but really only an extended lore. Is it an important point? Remnant is an important point in the main series, but truth be told, if you didn't acknowledge Remnant, none of the games would change. Like, literally, I went most of my life watching through FNAF without ever understanding what Remnant was, and the lore barely changed for me post knowing it. So you can probably understand why I'm in such a weird position here. Because for something that is so vital to the series of making everything make sense, it is also some of the least important stuff in the entire series somehow. I don't know how Scott managed to make something that is the core focus of the series, but yet is also so inconsequential that the story really wouldn't change without it. Because at the end of the day, with or without Remnant, William Afton still would have became the man behind the slaughter. He still would have you know, the missing people. We all know how that goes, because if I say the actual age of these people, YouTube won't like it. But also, regardless of the fact Afton would have still became the man behind the slaughter, the core problem also is this is supposedly the driving force of why he does every single thing in the entire series. Yes, I am not joking. For something that wouldn't have changed the fact he would have went on a killing rampage, it's still somehow the core focus, and it drives me up a damn wall. In fact, my earlier sentiment about it showing up in Ultimate Custom Night is technically wrong, because while Ultimate Custom Night ultimately relies on Remnant to work, because it's a technical afterlife within the soul, and it's not the real afterlife, because, well, Afton comes back. But yeah, it only showed up in Sister Location, Pizzeria Sim, and Special Delivery, which is an AR game. Not even a VR game, an AR game. And if you want to see how inconsequential this game is overall, here's a few seconds of Markiplier playing it. It really isn't much of a game. It literally was the definition of a tablet game that does virtually nothing at all. I mean, to be fair, though, the game does look kind of cool for the fact that you get to play FNAF essentially in your own house. So, I'll give it that much. Playing FNAF in your own house, literally, quite sounds awesome. It sounds quite awesome. Like, I can't lie, but, oh, hey, and there's Remnant. You literally just saw what Remnant looks like. I'm glad I brought this clip up now. Now that we have the weird backstory of Remnant aside and why it even exists in the first place, what really was the driving introduction, at least in retrospect? Well, that's technically the end of FNAF 4. Because in FNAF 4, we all know what happens to Crying Child. Was that the bite of 83? It was the bite of 83, actually. And after the child goes away, William Afton supposedly can tell, like, hey, he's still in there. He's still in Fredbear. Fredbear is acting weird. And William Afton puts together the fact that Crying Child is still inside of Fredbear. And so, this is what causes Sister Location, technically. Or, well, honestly, you can put either one in either place and it still makes almost the same amount of sense. And that is where we get the Fun Time animatronics. Yay! Arguably my least favorite. Not from a do I like them, not like them perspective. They're my least favorite in terms of what animatronics would I not want to be put in a room with. And while all of them are definitely on the list, the Fun Times are the worst. Literally the worst. Like a mixture of just robots and hauntings. But hauntings under one singular person. Yeah. And this one singular person would not only go on to become the secondary antagonist for the whole series, but would also be the thing that allows William Afton to discover what Remnant even is. Because, oh boy, when William Afton makes the Fun Time animatronics to, take people, we'll put it that way, to take people of a certain age group, definitely not below 21, guess what happens? We all know what happens to Elizabeth, right? Circus Baby? She's still here? Yeah, Circus Baby takes Elizabeth, and then Afton discovers this way too late, and then that in Sister Location is the remnant for how Afton Afton figures this all out. Because while Fredbear was the indicator for Afton that something is happening with souls in the lake, he didn't know for sure. And that's why he needed to make animatronics to take people, and then the animatronics took the wrong person. Again, ironic, right? Like, you couldn't take enough hints after Fredbear, huh? But anyway, so that happens to Elizabeth, and then this is where Afton figures out how Remnant works. And well, this is where we get to the weirdest part of the timeline. And, man, I need a drink for this one. What did you think I meant? But here's the big thing. This is where we get to the part of the FNAF franchise where I like to call the overlaps. You see, this is where the games end and begin, but certain parts of the games happen at certain points to where it overlaps with different games in the franchise. So you have a timeline where technically it goes how many games, but then certain parts of the games are thrown all the way back into different parts of the timeline. So this is where we have to bring up FNAF fucking 3 and FNAF 1. Because these events happen somehow before sister location, technically. So, in FNAF 3, we are shown through mini-games that William Afton disassembled parts of the animatronics from FNAF 1. Yeah, you're seeing what the problem here is now, because FNAF 3 indicates events of FNAF 1, post FNAF 1, happened during sister location, even though the events of FNAF 1 happens after. Yeah, you're seeing the problem here, aren't you? And this is essentially why a lot of people can hate Remnant. I don't hate Remnant, but I understand why people hate Remnant, because Remnant literally made Scott Cawthon retroactively put events from FNAF 1 during sister location / before sister location, and then only showed us this during FNAF 3. But we wouldn't know this until after sister location got released, and this is where you're seeing why the timeline gets thrown out of whack, because of Remnant. All because of Remnant. We have events shown in FNAF 3 that happened in FNAF 1 that we wouldn't know when they happened till the 5th game, which is sister location, and then we had to put those events into sister location, which in of itself is already a prequel to the whole series. Did all of that sink in? Did all of that make sense? Because this is, after a few takes, this is the best way I can figure out how to explain this. This is like my 12th take trying to explain this right now. I hope you appreciate this. But I bring all this up because this leads us into the biggest clusterfuck of the whole series, Funtime Fredbear. Specifically Funtime Fredbear. Mostly because of how, demented he acts. Nobody can deny the fact that the only animatronic besides Circus Baby that shows any signs of awareness during the events of sister location is easily Funtime Fredbear. Like, and here's why. So, again, air quotes here, because this is the best we have until Scott gets off his ass and writes a whole compendium confirming everything, which probably will never happen in my lifetime, at least. Well, actually, should at that point, I think his kids would have to do it for him, because if, yeah, he'd be dead and I'd be dead. Anyway, so that remnant that Afton got from dismantling the animatronics, which, by the way, is what happened in the cutscene. Sorry if I didn't portray that accurately enough during that initial whole explaining how it works in a timeline rant. So he dismantles the animatronics. He takes the remnant from these animatronics. animatronics, mixes them all together, and this is how we get Funtime Fredbear acting like a demented jerk all night for 5 nights, and why he is mostly the reason why you're paranoid, honestly. And this is where it gets even more messed up when you remember Funtime Fredbear mixes with all the other Funtime animatronics, becomes Ennard by combining with Circus Baby too, so you have an incomplete beast of Fredbear. Well, Funtime Freddy, I mean. Funtime Freddy. And then you have Circus Baby, who is just Elizabeth Afton, who is devoted to... Yeah. And then Circus Baby gets kicked out of Ennard, and she becomes Scrap Baby, and then we get Molten Freddy, which is what leads us into the game where Remnant becomes the big selling point, Pizzeria Simulator. Yes, and you rescue Molten Freddy. Yes, rescue. You literally treat him like a poor and abandoned puppy behind a shelter. Literally. You find him behind an alleyway, you drag his ass inside, and eventually you drag William Afton in too, in the form of Scrap Trap, Ash Trap, Dumbass Trap, I Always Come Back Trap. And by doing these things, and then by doing an Easter egg in the office, you figure out what Remnant is in the games. Technically, anyway. And all I gotta say is... Ah! And I say that scream because if you weren't reading the books, this is how you figured out what Remnant was. Yes, I kid you not. Remnant was mostly introduced into the books. This is why I was going over why it's really only important in extended lore, because with or without it, the games really wouldn't make a difference. You would have all the games still, it's just that he wouldn't be looking into how souls work during all the games. Which, I get it. It's the reason how we even get into Ultimate Custom Night anyway. Like, it's obvious what he was doing with all this. All of this pushes into Ultimate Custom Night. That's obvious. You need everything to explain Ultimate Custom Night, because without the whole lore up until this point, Ultimate Custom Night wouldn't make sense, and we would never have an Ultimate Custom Night. I can fully see in retrospect why everything happened the way it happened. But was all this worth it just to get to Ultimate Custom Night? Was all these inserts into the lore, making the timeline break, was everything worth it just to get us to Ultimate fucking Custom Night? In retrospect, anyway. Like, we didn't know that's where it was going. Even Scott didn't know that's where it was going. Keep in mind, a lot of this was very much, how can I put this? Leap of faith logic. It happens as it happens. You know, you gotta take that leap of faith, man, to quote Assassin's Creed. What can I say? It's just what happened. You know, it's like when you're writing a book. You know the beginning, you know the end, you don't know the middle. That's the truth. As someone who has written several extended what ifs right now on this channel, as someone who is writing Tales of the Red Rose right now, I will testify that heavily. You know the beginning, you know the end, you don't know the middle. I'm just really questioning if the middle was worth getting to the end, because I really gotta stop and wonder if you were only going through the games. Now, thank God I'm a nerd junkie. I'm a lore junkie. I am also a nerd junkie. Nerds hit me up in the chat down below, am I right? But thank God I'm a lore junkie. So in combination with the games, I'm also consuming all the side media. I went out of my way to watch the movie recently. Well, everyone did that. Who doesn't fucking love the movie? But if you're not consuming extended lore, this is all you got in the games. And I can only imagine how frustrating this must have been to have the timeline broken up and made so hectic and so hard to understand understand to the point where I think I have a 20+ minute video just going on a rant, not even an explanation anymore of just how all this worked in the timeline. I really pity the people who were just playing the games. I really genuinely do. And now we could go on and on to the extended purpose of what Remnant plays in the series now, but I think overall you guys can make a lot of assumptions. It's really just the driving force nowadays. It what makes everything click, it what makes everything whir. Sorry, my brain is fried, so my grammar is a little bit fucked up right now. And really, that's as simple as it gets. It's just the driving force nowadays. It's that thing in the background that makes everything click into place and makes the whole series go. And I guess in that regard, it was overall worth it, but in the moment, it probably wasn't for a lot of people. Let me know what you think about Remnant in the comments below. Let me know if you have any additional lore you personally want to dump into this. This is all I wanted to talk about. This is all you really need to understand when you get to the simplicity of it, or lack thereof, because if it was simple, the video wouldn't be this long. But overall, I have been Johnny Von Dude. I hope you enjoyed this lore video. I hope you enjoyed this edition into FNAF for Dummies. And let me tell you, this is definitely going to be interesting to see when I eventually get to the end of the lore, which we're nowhere close to. But we're going to eventually get to it at one point. I'm going to obviously compilate all this video into one compilation. And we're going to have how many hours long of a mixture of shorts, gameplay footage, me talking, and it's just going to be the entire lore of Five Nights at Freddy's for Dummies. But let me know what you think of Remnant down below, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everybody. So, we're about to go over lore for a series which lore is very broken and jumps from games, which requires you to play out of order to understand, and is about 5 missing kids. This is gonna get very dark, very nerdy. We're obviously talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, just completely ruined the YouTube algorithm right in the first 3 seconds. Good. But anyway, like the title suggests, we're going to be talking about how Funtime Foxy became Mangle, and how Funtime Foxy, by the time it becomes Mangle, technically isn't the same Funtime Foxy. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Now, also purely to state, this is half a fan theory, half canon, because we have heavy evidence to suggest that this is what happened, but we also have Scott Coffin likes to do this lovely thing we like to call not confirming shit sometimes, and this is one of those things, so yay! But to be clear, Funtime Foxy obviously started out as a creation by William Afton, who wanted to figure out how souls worked. Yeah, we had a whole host of animatronics dedicated to just that, which I cover in my shorts, and I don't want to clog the video's runtime explaining how we got to the point of this, so just know this thing was made to partially understand how souls work. Yeah, I've already lost a lot of y'all, haven't I? But other than that craziness aside, it's important to understand that all animatronics work off of a shell system, basically. You have the endoskeletons, or in the Funtime's case, is more complicated endoskeletons. The difference between the Funtime endoskeletons and the other animatronics endoskeletons are important to all this. Just note the Funtime's endoskeletons are inherently different than the other ones, which kind of complicate the lore in a way, but also helps clarify a lot of things and makes a lot of things make sense later. Now, the important thing to note about Funtime Foxy is it was never haunted, supposedly, or we never had reasons to believe it was haunted. a lot of people, or rather the lore suggests, alongside the fact a lot of people believe that it was purely Circus Baby that was controlling, well, Elizabeth Afton, who was controlling all the animatronics and making them act awry, and also with the fact these animatronics were intelligent. Why Afton wanted to make intelligent animatronics that probably could, well, not probably, they did figure out what the heck was going on. It's beyond me, but please note these things actually did have a baseline intelligence, which, why? But point is, these animatronics being intelligent, along with the fact one of them was haunted and directing all of them, they would leave their shells behind and make what I would like to call an executive decision. They became entered. That demon thing that we should never talk about, because honestly it haunts my dreams sometimes. I can't even lie there. But they would leave their shells behind, and that's the very key thing. Now, here's the lovely thing about Fazbear Entertainment, Circus Baby's Pizza, you know, the two companies that are tied together under William Afton and Henry Emily. By this point, Afton was basically out of the picture. He was doing his, if you get my gist, the 5 missing kids, yeah. So, by this point, well, not the 5 missing kids yet, different missing kids. Yeah, there are multiple sets of missing kids. The ones we really care about are the ones that happen, and obviously with the toy animatronics and all that shit. I mean, the second game. Why did I say toy animatronics? Second game. Well, to be fair, it's in the... Stop talking! But anyway, the company likes to reuse, recycle, and all that fucking happy jazz. And when you reuse and recycle stuff, well, they get a little bit faulty over time. Very faulty. Very, very, very faulty. Yeah, Henry Emily would take the parts of Funtime Foxy, well, the shell anyway, put his own endoskeleton into it, and reprogram it alongside with the toy animatronics. And this was obviously meant to stop the man behind the slaughter. I need to just start saying William Afton. I am so used to saying the man behind the slaughter excessively, because half my friends for some reason don't understand that William Afton and my friends not understanding FNAF lore are not related to this. However, alongside with the fact this shell was never meant with this to be with this endoskeleton in the first place, and also the fact that the Funtime animatronics are inherently meant to attract kids. Now, thankfully, Mangle / Funtime Foxy never hurt any kids. The thing is, the kids like to abuse the poor thing. He literally had his parts ripped off and put in random places, which most definitely messed with his circuitry, his wiring, his ability to go whir. Yeah, it definitely messed with his ability to actually function properly. And this is probably where we get into the worst part. We all know what the toy animatronics are meant to do. We all know what they are meant to do. Save the children. And we all know what William Afton does. I don't need to say anything here. Oh man. Yeah, shit goes wrong really fast, because after William Afton does his thing, Mangle, well, supposedly here, we have a lot of lore saying yes, no, maybe so. Mangle, supposedly, goes on to do the bite of 87 on poor Jeremy Fitzgerald. Yeah. Was that the bite of 87? What can I say? Yeah, probably wasn't the best decision to put Funtime Foxy in the toy animatronic location, the second location. Freddy Jr.'s? I don't know. The name of this place is up in the air. A lot of people just call it Freddy Jr.'s, but I wish we had confirming lore for this. I really wish we did. Now, this is unfortunately where the lore goes absolutely fucking nowhere, because the only other appearance of Funtime Foxy is in Ultimate Custom Night, which is essentially when William Afton goes to hell. Jason goes to hell. The final chapter. I always come back. Yeah. But obviously in that game, the animatronics aren't real. It's all part of a torture cell, basically. So, yeah. I really wish we had a grand where this went and what happened to Mangle / Funtime Foxy afterwards, but we really don't. And that's unfortunate, because considering this thing did the bite of 87, was part of a program to figure out how souls work, was made by William Afton, and then also further tinkered with by Henry Emily. This thing has a lot of lore to it. Funtime Foxy and Mangle has a lot of lore, and it's a shame that it's basically gone nowhere. Now, technically, Funtime Foxy lives on in Molten Freddy, so there's that, because we all know Ennard becomes Molten Freddy. But really, I think we should bring back the shell of Mangle here. You know, repair Mangle, do something with it. Come on, like, let's do something with Mangle again. I know the fan base would love to see that ham radio again. Well, actually, you know, there is a little bit of something else I almost forgot about. Mangle does appear as part of the Phantoms in FNAF 3. But it's important to note that Mangle is maybe possibly haunted. We don't know for sure. It's rumored Jeremy Fitzgerald haunts Mangled. We don't know for sure. I believe that Jeremy does haunt Mangle, but it's more likely just the 5 missing kids. We don't know for sure, but hey, there's both theories. But overall, let me know what you thought of this little bit of lore. This was just way too complicated to do for a short. I wanted to do this for today's short, but I guess you're getting a full-length lore video today instead, because I literally sat down, got all the pictures loaded up on my phone, and then I realized it was going to take me like minutes long to explain all this. So that was the story of Funtime Foxy / Mangle. Who was Funtime Foxy / Mangle? This was the story. Hope you all enjoyed. I have been Johnny Von Duke. Hopefully we'll come up with a different FNAF short for today. I doubt it, because I'm FNAF lored out, honestly, right now. Have a good day, everyone. So, time to talk about a series which Content Matter will more than likely get this video not recognized by the YouTube algorithm, which revolves around 5 missing kids, how it drives an entire series, how it motivates a man to go on a tinge to go on a slaughter, and how overall, somehow, it's never the same 5 missing kids. Yet it is, but it isn't. But it is, but it isn't. Welcome to the complicated lore of the 5 missing kids of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And oh my god, is this going to be a ride and a half. Now, to get one thing clear, I say it is and isn't the same group of kids at the same time, because while we always call them the 5 missing kids, truth be told, there needs to be other missing kids at different points in the series in order for all these events to make sense. So, while technically this video is only about the 5 missing kids of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and while I've also done a video on this already, reality is not everybody wants to sit around and watch an extensive gameplay video, so welcome to the audio log, so to speak. Yeah, and I literally needed to pull up a list to confirm this because I really wasn't sure, even though I have notes for this. So, to highlight this problem even further, the chronological timeline is FNAF 4, FNAF 2, Sister Location, the original game, 3, Pizzeria Simulator, then Help Wanted, then Security Breach, then Ruin, then Help Wanted 2, and then whatever games we get after that. That is the current timeline for all this. So now I hope you fully understand why there needs to be more than 5 missing kids for this entire timeline to work. Because just like but to be clear, I'm not one of those nut jobs who's gonna go off and say, there's 10 missing kids, or there's 15 missing kids, or there's 5 missing kids for each and every game, which are all things people think and say on the series, even though the only hints we've gotten to any extra missing kids are in 4, Sister Location, and Pizzeria Simulator. In literally every other game, it's never been anything other than the 5 missing kids. So, considering we only have 3 extra games other than 1 and 2, which, by the way, 1 and 2 is only the 5 missing kids, please don't insist that there are 5 more kids just because we're in the second game. No, it's only ever 5 plus a few more, like 3 at the most. Because while yes, it is always gonna have to be more kids than 5, reality is, once you reach a certain number, there's a certain thing called you get caught doing a crime. And technically Afton already got caught. But yes, this is genuinely where I have to stop and be the, hey guys, there's such a thing as called logical storytelling still. Because despite the fact we're talking about ghosts, hauntings, cursed animatronics that want to stuff you in suits, a man who's obsessed with studying how souls work, this still takes place in our real world, and there's still such a thing as, after doing so much crime, you're guaranteed to get caught. And, yeah. If you're familiar with the channel, I don't need to go any further. So yes, there are both in-game reasons and logical storytelling reasons and real-life reasons as to why it's just 7 or 8-ish kids that went missing. But now that we have all that out of the way, which we're probably at the 8-minute mark by now, just getting all this prerequisite stuff out of the way, let's get into the actual lore of these people, shall we? Now, the first set of missing kids, or 1 or 2 kids, really, if we're being honest here, actually happened sometime before FNAF 4, because we get cutscenes with Crying Child, where Crying Child is talking to people who have gone to Fazbear's restaurant and all that shit. And the kids in these cutscenes, swear to God, there are rumors of missing kids already. And while we don't get any really big hints on who these missing kids are, we know it happened. But I have a slight theory, and here's where we have a slight problem here, because this flies in the face of what is basically confirmed lore at this point. Now, my theory is these kids who went missing before the events of FNAF 4, which FNAF 4, by the way, is the prequel to everything else in the series. Yikes. But anyway, these kids are actually the kids that went missing during FNAF 5, or Sister Location, because that whole game is set to explain the fact that Afton is kidnapping kids to figure out how souls work. That's literally the whole point of FNAF 5. That and revealing Ennard, let's be honest here. So, with that being said, and knowing the whole reason behind FNAF 5, what's really the big problem with this theory? Well, FNAF 5 technically happens after FNAF 4, and even if FNAF 5 did happen before FNAF 4, there's a little problem of we know no one else other than night guards has died at the location, which is a really big problem here. You kinda need confirmation of missing kids for all this to work. And there's also the big problem of, well, it closed due to leaks. Literally, closed due to gas leaks. The sister location, you know, Circus Baby's Pizza, it never opened. It never took off. They never sent any animatronics out. So, even though I have my own theory on how this happened, and at the end of the day, FNAF lore boils down to nothing but theories. We beg for Scott Coffin to confirm for us. Yeah, I really genuinely have nothing here. We know there are kids that went missing before FNAF 4. We know there are kids that went missing in between FNAF 4 and 5, technically. We don't know what really happened to them. Everyone, including me, wants to believe in FNAF 5, and we have our rumors and theories surrounding it to justify it. But what confirmed lore we have doesn't justify it, nor confirm it. So this is unfortunately one of the cases where if we're gonna want missing kids for FNAF 5 sister location, Circus Baby's Pizza, there's gonna need to be a retcon, because confirmed lore literally is stopping us from placing these missing kids, like these 2 extra kids, these 2 or 3 extra kids, anywhere in the spectrum. So, yikes, that's a problem, isn't it? Okay, so now that we covered where the extra 2 to 3 kids come from, finally we are here. The core 5. The core 5. The ones that started it all. Not really, as we already covered. And because I'm gonna have a few people debating me on what are their actual names, here you go. This is what Google swears to God their names are. Gabriel, Jeremy, Susie, Fritz, and Cassidy. You see that? It's highlighted there. If I have one person swear to God, Jeremy isn't Jeremy, because Jeremy Fitzgerald exists, I'm gonna lose my mind. Listen, people, there doesn't need to be a name change just because there are 2 people with the same name, okay? I get this rant is out of left field, but I've literally scrolled through posts where I've heard people swear to God that there needs to be a name change to Jeremy, or that Jeremy isn't actually Jeremy because Jeremy Fitzgerald exists and Jeremy Fitzgerald is the Bite of 83 victim. So why the hell would Scott Coffin name another person Jeremy just to have him die and get stuffed into Bonnie? And at that point, all I gotta tell you is, I don't know. That's just how the story is written. I'm sorry this has a random rant in it, but if I have another stupid person swear to God that Jeremy isn't Jeremy, I'm gonna shove a Jeremy up your fucking ass. Now, this is probably where you're beginning to wonder, however, what's the role in all these kids? Surely they did something, right? Like, surely there's some grand storytelling reason as to why these specific 5 kids got brutalized, beat up by a yellow bunny suit wearing motherfucker, and yeah, there's no reason whatsoever. They're literally just 5 random victims. Are you happy? I hope you're happy. This is what you asked for, after all. Yeah, this is generally where in a lot of FNAF lore videos we have to go with fan theories. This is generally why in a lot of FNAF lore videos in general, people want to connect all this to something. I've seen people swear to God, these were the 5 kids who used to bully little Evan Afton, little crying child. No. No. Some of these kids are younger than Crying Child would have been. How would they have even been there? What in the fuck? Yeah, I'm sorry for the excessive swearing and cussing and getting angry during this video. This is why I just wanted to do this video. I never wanted to make this video, because I knew when it came time to talk about this, as with a lot of FNAF lore, when you take it outside of short videos, it gets frustrating, because while put together, it's all a great story, individually, it really does fall apart on its own. as much as the 5 missing kids are a driving force in the series, they practically serve no point other than to get slaughtered, haunt the animatronics, and then kick off the rest of the series from there. And this problem really only comes in the fact of, well, they were never meant to be anything more than a rumor, a myth, a legend, a what if, a possibility. We weren't even supposed to have names for these people initially. When you really look back at it, FNAF 1 was never meant to be anything more than just a simple flash game. And then it grew into this. It grew into this. We're here talking about its lore. This thing has movies behind it. And while the movies are definitely doing a very good job, well, movie and the books, I'm going to say movie and the books, we don't have the second film yet. So while other media has done a, hello Leonard, and while other media has done a really good job of expanding on the lore, the problem is when we're talking about the core games like I'm trying to do and make sure we have the whole FNAF for Dummies shit, we don't have much to talk about. We genuinely don't. And I know all that's ironic because you're so many minutes, maybe hours, depending on how long the grand compilation video is. Keep in mind, this is going in a video that's going to be several hours long, containing this shit, all my shorts, and then all my sitting down talking about FNAF videos, at least up to a certain point, at least until I feel like we have all the lore accurately covered. But it really angers me that I can't talk about more of it because there's only so much to go over. And when you're trying to go over the important parts, it really sucks that the important parts is, hey, there were 3 random kids we'll never know about, and the 5 kids we do know about really only serve the purpose of haunting suits and almost have no characterization other than that. Now, on the bright side, I can tell you about where each child ended up, because let me tell you, during FNAF 2, we have this lovely thing called Save the Children, which is essentially the program made in the toy animatronics to, well, save the children. And the reason why I do it like the reason why I do it like that is because that's basically how it is in the game. It's literally a giant, hurts your ears if you have the volume up too loud, robotic voice, not too dissimilar from the one we use in my series, where it just goes, "Hey, buddy, I need your attention." And this is how we learn that children have died. I'm not fucking with you. So that happened, and then we get phone call dialogue. Phone call dialogue. Now, I gotta drop the act a little bit. While I'm obviously being a smartass for comedic purposes, this has always been the storytelling of FNAF, okay? I'm not saying that to be a mean, I'm not saying that to be a dickhead. I just find it funny we get this big reveal that people are going missing and that people are dying because of Save the Children, and because of, hey, so we had an incident with a guy in a piss-stained bunny suit. Gabriel overall ended up stuffed in Freddy, Jeremy ended up in Bonnie, Susie ended up in Chica, Fritz in Foxy, and Cassidy is stuffed alongside Crying Child into Golden Freddy, which was originally just Fredbear at one point. And, oh boy, this is the part that hurts. So, you know how the suits they were stuffed into are the withered animatronics in FNAF 2. And because FNAF 2 takes place before FNAF 1, you know, the withered animatronics eventually become the normal animatronics we see in that game. And supposedly these events happened during FNAF 2. However, during all 5 nights, the withered animatronics always act up. this leads us to what I call the second great problem with the 5 missing kids. Not just the fact it's hard to place where the 5 missing kids died, not just the fact that there are more than 5 kids technically. If they die during FNAF 2, why do the withered animatronics always attack us? Now, I know the obvious answer is gameplay. Thank God we have a logical reason. It all comes down to gameplay. The game would be boring if you didn't have things to go up against. That's true with every video game. So, this is where we run into the problem of video game mechanics interfering with how lore works. And overall, there's not a whole lot you can really do to fix that problem. A game needs to operate, a game needs to work, and considering FNAF 2 alongside FNAF 1 were just meant to be flash games for fun, and only were meant to have little snippets of lore, I'm willing to say, okay, fine. But this has been a contingency problem in the FNAF fanverse forever. And let me tell you, people have made whole series. I kid you not. It's not FNAF VHS. FNAF VHS is not the one I'm thinking about. If I can find the series, I'll post it in the description or edit it in, but I probably won't find it. But I literally remember watching a whole series that was made by a fan that was animated and everything, and its only purpose was to explain where all the kids went, because there was such little explanation on how all this works and happens in the core series. And really the only thing we know is where they ended up and which suits they specifically haunt. That's it. However, there is a major thing they do serve to do, and that unfortunately doesn't happen until FNAF 3. Despite all the great blunders in storytelling, this is truly where I would say the 5 missing kids became popular. Because in FNAF 3, and during the events of FNAF 1, because FNAF 3 takes place after FNAF 1, but it also has events from FNAF 1 that we don't see during FNAF 1. So that's awesome. And by the way, this is how we figured out the whole franchise. This is how we put the whole franchise's lore together, by the way. We would literally have to hop and skip between games for shits and giggles just to figure out lore. Yay. In the third game, which technically takes place during the first game, well, this part anyway, William Afton, to get Remnant and figure out what Remnant is and how souls work and all that happy jazz, dismantles the haunted suits and gets his Remnant. But at some point, he goes back to get more, and, stuck in my own trap, lungs collapse as my bones are cracked. Don't you know I always come back? Man, that was really cringe. And I probably shouldn't put that in the video, but I probably will, knowing my ass. But yeah, this is when the man behind the slaughter truly becomes the man behind the slaughter, and he becomes Springtrap, because the 5 missing kids say, "Uno reverse card, buddy," and he is stuck inside Spring Bonnie, that lovely piss-stained bunny suit, for the rest of his life. And this is probably the moment in the series that puts the 5 missing kids into fame and fortune, because while they've always been an interesting subject matter throughout the whole series, we literally see all 5 of them collectively off Afton, which we all love. We all love seeing Afton getting off, let's face it. We love it. We love ourselves a good old spring lock failure, let's face it. You know you love it. But before this video gets to 20 minutes long, even though I think it already is 20 minutes long, I think that's really all the lore we have. Because while they technically show up again during Pizzeria Simulator, the only point of Pizzeria Simulator is putting their souls to rest. There's not really much a point of going over what they do because, well, the only person at that point who is doing anything really is Cassidy, and we already know that Cassidy holds William Afton hostage, keeps him in hell for a little bit supposedly, or in some sort of mock afterlife, and then Afton eventually escapes, and then we see him as glitch trapped through the rest of the series. And as that weird, somehow he's back in Springtrap burnt corpse that we see, but that's neither here nor there. There's not really a whole lot to go over after 3, and while I do want to mention obviously what I just mentioned, there's not really a whole lot to go over, because after that point in time, well, once we get to Security Breach, Ruin, Help Wanted, and all those games, I know I said those out of order, it's 5 different missing kids, and it's no longer the 5 missing kids plus some that started the series, because by this point in time, their souls have been put to rest, and they're no longer vital to the core story. The story at that point has evolved past the 5 missing kids. There's no really any big point in having them in the series anymore. And while they are vital for getting us to point A to B and getting us to Security Breach, Ruin, and all that, it's kind of a shame that their story is over, considering they never got much of a story in the games in the first place. And while we were able to squeeze a 20-some minute video out talking about the lore of the 5 missing kids, most of the lore was me explaining how there isn't much lore, and you have to go to extended options and extended media if you want to see truly what there is in terms of a story for them, and that's kind of shameful. And I'm glad we have the movies now that are happening that are going to fix all that, and we're going to get more of a story. And honestly, I would probably be better off just explaining the movie verse at this point, but that's really not the point of FNAF. You're meant to look at everything as a whole, take it all in, fit it in the best you can, and figure out how it happens. But if you're like me and you really only want to go over confirmed what has and what has not happened, and you really want nothing more than the raw details, well, you get videos like this where people like me have to explain where there's not really much details, and it makes putting a series like FNAF for Dummies difficult. But then again, considering everything we have up until this point, and considering we have a few more topics left to go over, it's probably going to be a pretty good compilation by the end of the day. Hopefully. I've been Johnny Von Duke. I hope you enjoyed this entry. And, well, see you all next time, I guess. Don't get slaughtered.
Ugh. What the fuck? Son of a bitch. Yeah.
It's time.
Time for what? And wait. How in the hell are you real?
You know what they want.
What do you mean, I know what they want? Who is they?
Don't play around. You know you are stuck inside and that it's been so long. You should join us for a bite.
This is about the FNAF 2 movie being announced, isn't it?
It's been so long since I've seen my son lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter.
Okay, I'm still tripping over how you're real, though. I made you up for a story. You're not supposed to be a real thing.
Do the video.
Okay. Fine, I'll do the fucking video. Well, I guess we're doing this shit now. Let's get to it. Man, December of next year, December 2025, we are going to be getting FNAF 2 supposedly. And considering how different the FNAF 1 movie was from the FNAF games and the FNAF books and the FNAF graphic novels, which are based on the books, man, we really have a lot of canons for FNAF now, don't we? We literally have a whole multiverse floating around just for FNAF. And that's not even getting into fan-made stuff. This is just official stuff I'm talking about. And that actually makes me wonder, where is FNAF 2 the movie gonna go? Because there's a whole host of directions they could go in. Honestly, they don't even need to go in directly into the second location, you know? They don't need to go into the location with the toy animatronics. They could realistically do anything they want because the timeline is just that open. There's not really anything stopping them. There's nothing making them say, hey, we need to follow this concrete path. But with that being said, there is good reason to believe that they will just follow along with the footsteps a little tiny bit, because I do think legitimately a lot of people will be disappointed if they don't see the toy animatronics in this, because let's face it, the toy animatronics are kinda awesome, and for one key reason, they're just killer robots. Like, unlike the rest of FNAF, which always has to do with hauntings and people messing with stuff and superstitious crap. Well, it's not crap. We all know that legitimately, when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's, there are ghosts, the 5 missing kids, the souls, the remnant. We could go on and on and on about how just souls work with FNAF, but we're not getting into that today. How will the FNAF 2 movie go? How will the FNAF 2 movie go? Because I really want to see the classic stereotypical killer animatronics, because that's what the FNAF 2 animatronics are. Yeah, we put that on the FNAF 1 animatronics more because they're the OGs, but you gotta realize those are haunted. So with that being said, I can't wait to see these literal lifeless robots with no emotion, unlike the first location. Like, I love the second game just because there's nothing sacred about it. It's like you're meat. You're literal meat in the way of robots. You're not in the way of some dead kid's souls. There's no man behind. Well, there is the man behind the slaughter, but you know what I mean? He's not the one making the robots go after people. The robots trip out after seeing him do his thing, and then they just start going after people because they have like the self-defense scanning mode or whatever. It's predator recognition mode, as they call it in the games, and essentially they hunt down people who are dangers to children who enter the building. So when the man behind the slaughter does his thing, and in the games, yeah, the robots think you did it. And there's no souls in these things, man. They're just empty tin cans and they hate you. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I love it. As I've said for like the 80th time now? Now, realistically, I kind of picture we are probably going to start out maybe not with as high end as an opening as we started with in the first film, because the first film was establishing that there is death in this place, and you don't really need to do that right out the gate because we're going in with the precedence of we know kind of what's going on this time. So I imagine a calmer opening, maybe in the main house, maybe them in a car desolate somewhere, because you gotta keep in mind main character lost his job, so there's not really pay to keep a roof over their heads, and that was a main plot point of the first film. So I thoroughly believe we're gonna have a little bit of a calmer opening somewhere in them either being in the streets, in the car. Maybe they will still have their house. I'm not sure. I'm just picturing how this will start out. Realistically, at some point in the opening, we will probably literally had a brain fart there and I didn't even know why. I imagine at some point in the opening we will get to Vanessa because she was left alive during the last film, but she was left in hospital, so I imagine at some point during the opening we will obviously see her. But all the obvious stuff aside, this is really the big question: how do you get them into the next location? And will it even be a next location? Like, that's the big thing. I'm not really sure. Nobody's sure yet. Filming hasn't even started by me making this video. I believe by me making this video in like terms of time scale, filming is gonna start a month from now maybe. So yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to get them into the next location, but obviously we can predict there will be some form of hijinks. Well, not hijinks, but you know what I mean. There will be the stereotypical movie callback. It'll be like, hey, buddy, we need to get you back in there. We'll probably have the deny the heroes call at some point during all of this in the opening, because who would want to go back to this place after the first film? Not me. So with that being said, I imagine we're going to be playing hard to get with him actually getting to the next location or back to the original location. All that's up in the air. But point is, they're probably going to draw it out. I don't see how, for the sake of a storytelling perspective, it would be to any benefit to rush into getting them into the next location. So I thoroughly believe we'll be probably playing it out for 30 or so minutes of the film, probably just trying to get him into the damn restaurant. But hey, that's to be expected with a film like this, and this is all just predictions because, again, they haven't even started filming yet, I don't think. So there you go. Now, for this next part, I have about 3 theories, because obviously he's going to get into the next location at some point, or the group as a whole will get into the next location at some point. But it's really a matter of what animatronics will we run into? What animatronics will we run into? Now, I'm going to go from most likely to least likely. Now, I highly believe we're definitely going to run into the withered animatronics. That's already set in stone almost. I say almost simply because, again, this doesn't need to follow the main line whatsoever. There's no reason for the movies to need to follow the main story of the games, but I imagine they're going to do so somewhat out of a necessity, but obviously still do their own thing like they did with the first film. So I believe we will see the withered animatronics, and we will probably see the 5 missing kids once again like we did in the first film. Now, if they're going to be as violent towards Mike or not, I don't know. That's really a 50-50 crapshoot in my opinion, because really we need something to set the horror and tone. But I also imagine, with the fact, and this comes into my second part here, this is technically the second theory, but it's roped in with the first one, that we need something to counteract the toy animatronics. Because, you know, the toy animatronics don't really think, they just do. And I imagine we're gonna need the withered animatronics to stop the toy animatronics. I know that's kind of a 180, because in the second game, the withered animatronics are partially what makes, in conjunction with the man behind the slaughter, William Afton, you know, those two things are what makes the toy animatronics you know, they're like, we gotta stop these guys, the kids are in danger, save the children. But again, this is a little bit of a different timeline. So I imagine with the robots just going awry and trying to stop Afton in some way, because I do believe Afton will. He always comes back, let's face it. So with Afton obviously somehow coming back, or Afton schemes playing an after effect into this movie somehow, we're gonna need something to stop the toy animatronics. Now, here comes the third theory, and this is the wildest one. And this is gonna be, actually, let me make a separate video section for this. Now this comes to my third theory, which is a little bit off the walls, which is why I'm gonna put heavily here. And hey, future me, put it in text too. I thoroughly believe this probably won't happen, but I just want to cover all my bases here. There's a slight chance we might see the Phantom animatronics, and I only say that because, one, how do the, without doing a massive, like, 10-year time jump or something like that, how do you get the normal animatronics to become the withered animatronics? Now, there is a slight possibility they could just go the route of, oh, these are different animatronics, but they're withered. But I don't think they would do that. So what I think might happen here is there's a slight chance we might just see the Phantoms, but I don't believe it a whole lot. I don't think that will happen. I really don't think we'll see the Phantoms until the third movie, but considering what they have to work with here and how open they kind of left the spectrum, I'm just gonna say here for the short part, like 5% chance, 3% chance that we might see the Phantoms. I don't know. Again, there's just so much predicting we can do with this, and honestly, in 3 months from now, this video probably won't age well. But hey, let's have fun while we can have fun, am I right? Now there is going to be the great matter of what will the actual conflict be for this movie? You know, what's the scheme here? And I believe we're going to have to go back to the basics, because compared to the first game and even the first book, and even the first graphic novel, which I would argue was more detailed than the book because you had imagery to go along with it, you know, they kind of went super deep into the lore end, and it really caught me and a lot of people off guard. So I imagine we're going to have to go to something more simpler, and we're probably just going to have to focus on how did the 5 missing kids become the 5 missing kids. And while we always explore that throughout the whole FNAF series, no matter what timeline really you go with, there's always a simple matter of we don't really know the exact events. And I think this will be a good opportunity to portray that. And this is where I kind of get into my, will Afton be there, or will Afton in spirit be there? Because we know Afton is currently trapped in the back room right now. He's locked in, he's stuck inside Spring Bonnie, and there's really a big question of how will Afton even get to the second location. So I'm just going to say it's a 50-50 chance Afton may or may not actually physically be there. But I do thoroughly believe Afton's actions and what he did to the 5 missing kids will thoroughly play into what really goes down here in the second film. And it will also probably play in part of why the toy animatronics act up. It will probably play in part of why the withered or the Phantoms, just saying, slight possibility, on why those animatronics will overall be there and will be acting up, and why one group of animatronics will be fighting another, why Mike will have to try to stop the animatronics, because hey, it's quite possible that these toy animatronics could just be going after people in general and constantly mistaking people for Afton. You know, they could just be mistaking everybody for the man who entered Spring Bonnie that day and took them. So while we obviously don't know, I thoroughly believe to at least some small degree that will be there. I don't really see how we can have a second film, just in my mind. Probably lots of people can think of different ways, but I don't see how we can have a film without that core part being there, and I hope that all makes sense. And this is where people may... I'll probably lose people with this one, but I think at some point we will run into Henry Emily. Because Henry Emily, while always portrayed as not an afterthought, but somebody who's always in the background, we've never had a chance to have him really in the forefront as a main character. And with Afton gone, you know, who's gonna pull this guy in? Who's gonna pull Mike in? Who's gonna pull Vanessa back in? Who's gonna pull our main cast back in? And I believe it will have to be Henry Emily, because unless you want to go into Afton's extended family, unless you want to play some games, say, hey, his wife is still around and she pulls them in, I don't think she would even have a reason to, because in FNAF lore, she tries to disassociate to every degree. And we debate nowadays if she's involved with the newer games, but we don't really know for sure. So I thoroughly believe it has to be Henry Emily, because he's the maker of the animatronics. Because while yes, Afton made a lot of the suits and had ideas and had visions and had imagery, we know he would go on, well, maybe not for the movie lore, we don't know how movie lore will go, but we know in the games Afton did make animatronics. But starting out, it was mostly Henry Emily. He made the Withered animatronics, which technically were the FNAF 1 animatronics, but in the games they were also a different set of animatronics for that. It's a whole big mess, and it's not worth going into, but he made the Withered / the original animatronics. He made the Springlock suits. He made the toy animatronics. He would make the Rockstar animatronics in the games. So, considering he's the man who makes these suits, we clearly need him there to get the guys into the location, or at least I believe so anyway. Then there's kind of a matter of what will our third arc of the movie, or you know, every movie has like this 3-step basis that it follows. What will the third step of the movie be? What will be our kind of focal point here? What is everything gonna lead into? We know obviously it will somehow be a battle of some kind. You know, it's a horror movie. We need our final battle, so to speak, but what will it be? What will it be? I know I've been predicting Withered versus Toys and all that, but what's gonna kick everything off? How do we get from step 1 to step 5? You know, because it's Five Nights at Freddy's, and I thoroughly imagine we're gonna do the Five Nights thing again. How do we get there? And you know, that's kind of the part I'm struggling with. And I've been sitting on this for a while, and that's the thing where ultimately I'm just gonna have to let the comments decide, if anybody even wants to comment, because realistically this early in, and with what lore we can possibly apply versus what we cannot apply, I'm just really not sure. I can make some predictions, such as Henry Emily will be pulling them along the way, trying to put an end to everything. Maybe he doesn't have the bravery to end the toy animatronics himself. I can make some guesses in. Maybe Charlotte Emily will make a play in all this. We will probably see the puppet. I don't see why we wouldn't see the puppet. Realistically, the puppet is what makes FNAF 2 FNAF 2. She's kind of the tie-in that puts the bow on the lore of the second game, so maybe Charlotte or Henry himself will be what pulls everything along. Maybe Charlotte Emily gets sick and tired of the toy animatronics and what they're doing. Maybe she wants to put the Withered animatronics to rest finally. I don't know. But I thoroughly believe one of these two characters somehow will pull us along the Five Nights and get us to that final step of the movie. The thing I just struggle with is I can't imagine what those Five Nights will contain, because we have a hardened cast already who knows what can happen at these places. Nobody's stupid to anything anymore. Well, they might be blind to some things, but they're not ignorant to what's happening at these locations anymore. They don't know the full story, but they know something's happening. So I'm just struggling to come up with a substantial thing here of what's going to happen in the Five Nights other than horror. We know horror will happen, we know lore will happen, we know we will get a story. I just don't know what that will be. And I am horribly sorry, but after sitting here for an hour, I can't think of anything, Chief. So I'm just gonna let this in, and I'm gonna let the comments fill that out if they want to. And I could keep going on and on and on about what I think the final confrontation will be like, but other than the fact that we know there will clearly be a confrontation, I don't want to put out concrete what I think will happen, because any guesses I can make at this point will be horribly inaccurate. You won't even be able to watch this video and laugh at it, and honestly I'll probably come up with something so redundant and dumb that it probably will make me look like a doofus. But hey, I'll give you this much. For the final conflict, we probably will see the 5 kids again in physical form. I know we saw the animatronics throughout the first film. I know we saw glimpses of the actual missing kids, but if I'm gonna make anything here, if I'm gonna put anything on the line with this, I'll say at some point during the final conflict, the missing kids themselves in their normal kid forms, they're still ghosts obviously, but at least in their kid forms, will somehow play a role in stopping the toy animatronics. Because if the toy animatronics are meant to protect children, then maybe the ghosts of the missing kids will play a role in stopping the toy animatronics or giving our main cast the leg up to stopping the toy animatronics. Hope that makes sense. But that is overall my entire blueprint of how I think FNAF 2 the movie will go. Now we still have a lot of time before the film gets here. Obviously we got a whole nother year and a half. We aren't even in December yet. We're not even into halfway of summer yet. So that just goes to show how much time we have until this movie gets here. We have a full year and a half. I expect wonderful things to happen. I love the first film. I'm a big fan of the games. I think the books, the novels are cool. I love the fanverse. FNAF VHS, man, one of my favorite things ever to this day. I love the Five Nights at Freddy series. Everything from to what's official, to the fan-made stuff, to the lore videos everyone makes. It's just overall generally healthy community, and it's very rare, especially with something as messed up as the source material is. We're talking about missing kids, for crying out loud. But the overall world of Five Nights at Freddy's, fan, story, extended universe, everything is overall pretty friendly, really good. It's very easy to get into, and despite how complicated the lore can be, these really aren't complicated stories. You know, if you take each game and each thing as their own individual thing and you add on to it over time, you slowly get an understanding of everything, and I've really come to appreciate the story it's been telling over the years, and it's been playing massive influences as to how I write my stories, honestly. Like, shit, if I'm gonna say one thing about Scott, he can definitely write a good story. He can definitely make some good games too, but I think the story aspect is a little bit better than the games, honestly. That's not a knock on the games, but there's just something about this lore, man. There's just something about this lore. I only play the games every once in a blue moon. I watch people play them more often than I play them myself, although I have gone through all of them, but it's just like the lore pulls me in so deep to the point where I feel like I could just sit in the abyssal ocean of FNAF lore and absorb all the knowledge and regurgitate it out to you. Everything except Security Breach, anyway. Anyway, I have been Johnny Von Duke, and I'll see you all next time, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know how you think FNAF 2 will go. Rock on, everybody. Woo!
we can teach you to love.
Not sure I survived, I don't think that I died. I only have a life, it's alright. Stuck inside.
It's alright, I'll be fine. It's alright, I'll be fine. Something's right.
Stuck in my own trap. Bones are cracked as my lungs collapse. Remember that I always come back.
It's what we're made to do. You act like we're to blame. I'm lost to hide yourself when really it makes us the same. A couple hours, but it's feeling like days. You're running out of power, leave you mangled and winding away. Step one, check lights and empty out the hole. Did you hear that? There's banging in the wall. Enjoy your new job, 'cause it might be your life. You find it 6 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow. It's what we're made to do. You act like we're to blame. I'm lost to hide yourself when really it makes us the same. A couple hours, but it's feeling like days. You're running out of power, leave you mangled and winding away.
Pretty, but it needed to be done for my son.
Fireflies, thought that they were mine. I can't believe my eyes. It's alright, I'll be fine. Running out of time. I think that I can find a place where I can hide. It's alright, I'll be fine. Safe inside.
He is here, I recognize him anywhere. That purplish figure was bigger and quicker than me. And then I thought I was dreaming. He looked like a demon, and I remember bleeding and screaming and thinking nobody could hear me. Know what he did to me, he's gonna die.
We were playing in the sand, and you found a little band. You told me you fell in love with it, hadn't gone as I planned. When you had to bid adieu, said you'd never love anew. I wondered if I could hold it and fall in love with it too. You told me to buy a pony, but all I wanted was you.
eyes, your little smile is all I remember. Those fuzzy memories mess with my temper. Justification is killing me. If killing isn't justified, what happened to my son? I'm terrified. It lingers in my mind and the thought keeps on getting bigger. I'm sorry, must be, baby, I wish I'd been there. It's been so long since I've seen our son lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter. Since you've been gone, I've been singing this to this song so I could ponder the sanity of
Right now, there's a skating ride. It's alright, I'll be fine. Not sure I survived. I don't think that I died. I only have one life. It's alright, be fine. Stuck inside.
It's alright, I'll be fine. It's alright, I'll be fine. Something's fine.
Stuck in my own trap, bones are cracked as my lungs collapse. Remember that I always come back.
Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me, and you won't wanna leave after tonight. Down here we're lonely, and we would love you to join us for a ride. You've been through 20 long, frightful nights. You've seen their faces, found all their lies. You know I'm sure it's so. I don't know what I was thinking, leaving my child behind. Now I suffer the curse and now I am blind. With all this anger, guilt and sadness calling to haunt me forever, I can't wait for the cliff at the end of the river. Is this revenge I'm seeking, or seeking someone to avenge me? Stuck in my own paradox, I wanna set myself free. Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me,
my lungs collapse, remember that I
Wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me, and you won't wanna leave after tonight. Down here will lonely, and we would love you to join us for a ride. Jumping through 20 long frightful nights. You've seen their faces found all their lives. You know I'm sure it's so far from over. And Freddy told us you're an organ donor. All eyes are on you. We can walk you through all the fantasy. I don't know what I was thinking, leaving my child behind. Now I suffer the curse and now I am blind. With all this anger, guilt and sadness calling to haunt me forever, I can't wait for the cliff at the end of the river. Is this revenge I'm seeking, or seeking someone to avenge me? Stuck in my own paradox, I wanna set myself free. Maybe I should chase somebody fall and try to stop it. It won't be long before I become a puppet.
It's not your flesh that sustains me. It is your fear. Your time is up. I'm back. I always come back.
pretty, but it needed to be done for my son.
Fireflies thought that they were mine. I can't believe my eyes. It's alright, I'll be fine. Running out of time. I think that I can find a place where I can hide. It's alright, I'll be fine. Safe inside.
He is here, I recognize him anywhere. That purplish figure was bigger. As my lungs collapse, remember that I always come back.
We were only playing, just wanted to make a few new friends. You plan on staying. When you're with us, the party never ends. You might look at me and think you're going crazy. I lost it long ago, you're not alone, baby. Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me. And you won't wanna leave after tonight down here with Lonnie. And we would love you to join us for a Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me. And you won't wanna leave after tonight down here with Lonnie. And we would love you to join us for a ride. You've been through 20 long, frightful nights. You've seen their faces, found all their lies. You know I'm sure it's so
Pretty, but it needed to be done for my son.
Fireflies thought that they were mine. I can't believe my eyes. It's alright, I'll be fine. Running out of time. I think that I can find a place where I can hide. It's alright, I'll be fine. Safe inside. He is here, I recognize him anywhere. That purplish figure was bigger and quicker than me. And then I thought I was dreaming. He looked like a demon, and I remember bleeding and screaming. And thinking nobody could hear me. Know what he did to me. He's gonna die. The others agree he needs to die. We'll never be free until he dies. Five lives gone before the time now. They're sustaining mine. It's alright, I'll be fine. Not sure I survived that. Don't think that I died. Eyes revealing a glow, grinning out for the show, awaiting everyone to come home. Creatures are stirring, anxiously stirring, eyes revealing a glow, grinning out for the show, awaiting everyone to come home. La da 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 da, 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 la da 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 da,
Can't wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Try your best to hold on to sanity. Come get to know me. And you won't wanna leave after tonight down here with Lonnie. And we would love you to join us for a ride. Sweet little eyes, your little smile is all I remember. Those fuzzy memories mess with my temper. Justification is killing me. If killing isn't justified, what happened to my son? I'm terrified. It lingers in my mind and that thought keeps on getting
in the sand, and you found a little band. You told me you fell in love with it, hadn't gone as I planned. When you had to bid adieu, said you'd never love anew. I wondered if I could hold it and fall in love with it too. You told me to buy a pony, but all I wanted was you.
summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Facial recognition, advanced mobility. They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now that being said, no new system is without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. And as for the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about robots seeing you as an endoskeleton without its costume on and wanting to stuff you into a suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quirky modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have lights, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to. Keep the music box wound up. Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello? See, I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell. So the company decided to just go in a whole new direction and make them super kid-friendly. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around, but if they do, the whole Freddy head trick should work on them too, so whatever. I loved those old characters. Did you ever see Foxy the Pirate? Oh wait, Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy. Hey listen, that one was always a bit twitchy. I'm not sure if the Freddy head trick will work on Foxy. If for some reason he activates during the night, and you see him standing at the far end of the hall, just flash your light at him from time to time. Those older models would always get disoriented with bright lights. It would cause a system restart or something. Come to think of it, you might want to try that on any room where something undesirable might be. It might hold him in place for a few seconds. That glitch might have carried over to the newer models too. One more thing, don't forget the music box. I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere. I don't think the Freddy mask will fool it, so just don't forget the music box. Anyway, I'm sure it won't be a problem. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello? See, I told you wouldn't have any problems. Did, Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious. Like I said, he was always my favorite. They tried to remake Foxy, you know? They thought the first one was too scary, so they redesigned him to be more kid-friendly and put him in Kids Cove. To keep the toddlers entertained, you know. But kids these days just can't keep their hands to themselves. The staff literally had to put Foxy back together at the end of every shift. Eventually they just stopped trying and left him as some kind of take-apart, put-back-together attraction. Now he's just a mess of parts. I think the employees refer to him as just the Mangle. Oh hey, before I go, I wanted to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything. I can personally assure you that whatever is going on out there, however tragic it may be, has nothing to do with our establishment. It's just all rumor and speculation, people trying to make a buck, you know. Our guard during the day has reported nothing unusual, and he's on watch from opening till close. Okay, well anyway, hang in there and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Hello? Hey there, Night 4. I told you to get the hang of it. Okay, so just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days, I don't know. I want to emphasize, though, that it's really just a precaution. Fazbear Entertainment denies any wrongdoing. These things happen sometimes. It'll all get sorted out in a few days. Just keep an eye on things and I'll keep you posted. Just as a side note though, try to avoid eye contact with any of the animatronics tonight if you can. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems, we're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual, almost aggressive toward the staff. They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare. Anyway, hang tight, it will all pass. Good night. Hey, good job, Night 5. Hey, keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, you know, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. A position just became available. We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it. We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Freddy's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down. So just get through one more night. Hang in there. Good night. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay? For now, just make it through the night. when the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. Okay, good night and good luck.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Another day, another dramatic entry in the lives of Vlad and his distressed mistress. Where will they go? What will they do? All of that and more happening now.
Clara, I tell you, the baby isn't mine.
Count, I tell you that it is. You're the only vampire I've ever loved. And the baby turns his bottles into powdered milk.
That doesn't mean anything.
He sleeps on the ceiling fan.
Upright or upside down?
What does it matter? You need to be part of your son's life.
I'm an old man, Clara. I can't be a father.
Well, then at least pay your child support, you deadbeat!
Will Vlad and his distressed mistress find common ground? Tune in next time. As the sun sets, so also does another chapter in the saga of love lost between Vlad and his distressed mistress. Can they be reconciled? Can their love rise again? That and more happening now.
Clara, the baby isn't mine.
It is, Vlad. They had trouble catching him in the nursery today.
So what? Lots of kids get hyper and run around and stuff.
They had to knock him out of the air with a broom.
I have to go.
They're going to dock your paychecks.
They can't do that. I'm a vampire. I don't get paychecks.
You work the graveyard shift at the Fry Me Taco. Don't lie to me.
Oh, the humanity! When will the heartbreak end? When will these two ships passing in the night rekindle their long-lost love? Tune in tomorrow to find out. As the moon rises, so also rises the tension between scorned lovers.
Clara, it's not my baby.
Vlad, you suck.
Wait, was that a vampire joke? That was so lame, Clara. Like I haven't heard that a million times.
Okay, well, how's this? I'm taking the car.
The joke's on you. It's a rental.
Well, the joke's on you. I set the thermostat to 90 before I left.
Good, I like it warm.
Good, because I also set the house on fire.
How will it all end? The passion, the tension, the intrigue. Tune in tomorrow for the exciting conclusion. As the trees sway in the wind, so also do emotions sway between star-crossed lovers.
You burned down my house?
You call that a house? It was like a morgue in there.
I may be undead, but you're heartless.
You need to see your son.
The baby isn't mine.
He ate the cat.
Sounds like something he got from your side of the family.
Well, how's this? I'm keeping the diamond ring.
The joke's on you. I found it in a kid's meal.
You bought a kid's meal? Oh, Vlad!
Clara!
As the hair on the back of a cat stands up straight, so also does the love between Vlad and Clara stand up against all obstacles. But what about the baby? What about the back child support? Stay tuned next season for those answers and more.
day, perhaps.
You won't die. Won't die. You 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 won't die.
message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up, they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the bite of 87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth when they pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up. But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night. Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know. Interestingly enough, Freddy himself doesn't come off stage very often. I've heard he becomes a lot more active in the dark, though, so hey, I guess that's one more reason not to run out of power, right? I also want to emphasize the importance of using your door lights. There are blind spots in your camera views, and those blind spots happen to be right outside your doors. So if you can't find something or someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door lights. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon. Hello? Hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I better not take up too much of your time. Things start getting real tonight. Hey, listen, I had an idea. If you happen to get caught and want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. You know, go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty costume instead. Then again, if they think you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a metal skeleton into you. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best just not to get caught. Okay, I'll leave you to it. See you on the flip side. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no. off the exit. Yeah, you've officially become part of the attraction. You'll be starring as the security guard. So not only will you be monitoring the people on the camera as they pass through, you know, to make sure no one steals anything or makes out in the corner, but you'll also be a part of the show. It'll make it feel really authentic, I think. Now let me tell you about what's new. We found another set of drawings, always nice, and a foxy head, which we think could be authentic. Then again, it might just be another crappy cosplay. And we found a desk fan, very old school, metal though. So watch the fingers. Right now the place is basically just, you know, flashing lights and spooky props. I honestly thought we'd have more by now. If we don't have something really cool by next week, then we may have to suit you up in a furry suit and make you walk around saying, boo. But, you know, like I said, we're trying to track down a good lead right now. Some guy who helped design one of the buildings says it was like an extra room that got boarded up or something like that. So we're going to take a peek and see what we can find. For now, just get comfortable with the new setup. You can check the security cameras over to your right with the click of that blue button. You can toggle between the hall cams and the vent cams. Then over to your far left, you can flip up your maintenance panel. You know, use this to reboot any systems that may go offline. In trying to make the place feel vintage, we may have overdone it a bit. Some of this equipment is barely functional. Yeah, I wasn't joking about the fire. That's a real risk. The most important thing you want to watch for is the ventilation. Look, this place will give you the spooks, man. And if you let that ventilation go offline, then you'll start seeing some crazy stuff, man. Keep that air flowing. Okay, keep an eye on things, and we'll try to have something new for you tomorrow night. Hey man, okay, I have some awesome news for you. First of all, we found some vintage audio training cassettes. Dude, these are like prehistoric. I think they were like training tapes for like other employees or something like that. So I thought we could like have them playing like over the speakers as people walk through the attraction. Dude, that makes us feel legit, man. But I have an even better surprise for you. You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one. Gotta go, man. Well, look, it's in there somewhere. I'm sure you'll see it. Okay, I'll leave you with some of this great audio that I found. Talk to you later, man. Hello? Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. These tapes will provide you with much-needed information on how to handle/climb into/climb out of mascot costumes. Right now, we have two specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and suit. So please pay close attention while learning how to operate these suits, as accidents/injuries/death/irreparable and grotesque maiming can occur. First, we will discuss how to operate the mascots when they are in animatronic form. For ease of operation, the animatronics are set to turn and walk towards sound cues. This is an easy and hands-free approach to making sure the animatronics stay where the children are for maximum entertainment/crowd-pleasing value. To change the animatronics to suit mode, insert and turn firmly the hand crank provided by the manufacturer. Turning the crank will recoil and compress the animatronic part around the sides of the suit, providing room to climb inside. Please make sure the spring locks are fastened tight to ensure the animatronic devices remain fixed. We will cover this in more detail in tomorrow's session. Remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. For today's lesson, we will be continuing our training on proper suit handling techniques. When using an animatronic as a suit, please ensure that the animatronic parts are tightly compressed and fastened by the spring locks located around the inside of the suit. It may take a few moments to position your head and torso between these parts in a manner where you can move and speak. Try not to nudge or press against any of the spring locks inside the suit. Do not touch the spring locks at any time. Do not breathe on the spring locks, as moisture may loosen them and cause them to break loose. In the case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience. As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera. As always, remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There's been a slight change of company policy concerning use of the suit. Don't. After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures, the company has deemed the suit temporarily unfit for employees. Safety is top priority at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is why the classic suits are being retired to an appropriate location while being looked at by our technicians. Until replacements arrive, you will be expected to wear the temporary costumes provided to you. Keep in mind that they were found on very short notice, so questions about appropriateness/relevance should be deflected. I repeat, the classic suits are not to be touched, activated, or worn. That being said, we are free of liability. Do as you wish. As always, remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is just a reminder of company policy concerning the safe room. The safe room is reserved for equipment and or other property not being currently used and as a backup safety location for employees only. This is not a break room and should not be considered a place for employees to hide and or congregate. And under no circumstance should a customer ever be taken into this room and out of the main show area. Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved and would like to remind employees that this costume is not safe to wear under any circumstances. Thank you, and remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. Work crews will be here most of the day today, constructing a false wall over the old door face. Nothing is being taken out beforehand, so if you left anything inside, then it's your own fault. Management also requests that this room not be mentioned to family, friends, or insurance representatives. Thanks again, and remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Now I will tell you a story. A story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone, and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children, so he adopted all 5, and brought them together in one place, in his own home. He promised them to never leave them, and they promised to always come home, and never stay out too late. He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home, and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door. Now I will tell you a story about a young woman who was sealed in a small room. In the room was a furnace, and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child that she could take with her as she fled the building. But she was only allowed to leave her own room with 1 key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. Of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths. Now I will tell you a story about a little boy. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage, whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. He knew that if he chose 1 kitten to feed to the snake, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose. So, he went to bed, leaving the cage open. The snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret, and cut snake open. He pieced the remains together, and put the kitten back into the shoebox.
Congratulations on completing your first day. However, your job isn't over just yet. There is another aspect to your end-of-day routine, and that isn't... You have chosen to proceed with the maintenance checklist. Remember, use your company-issued taser to return the animatronic to a neutral state if you feel that it's becoming unstable or aggressive. You can only use it 3 times before it begins to damage the animatronic and decrease its value. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin. Audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. results. Begin. An audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt. In 3, 2, 1. Document results. You have completed the maintenance checklist and may proceed with the salvage. Well done. End tape.
Thanks for letting me join the party. I'll try not to disappoint.
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley. We are unsure of its origins. It is your job to complete the maintenance checklist before claiming it as salvage. Or, if you choose to, you can throw it back into the alley where you found it and forfeit payment. Please make your choice now. You have chosen to proceed with the maintenance checklist. Remember, use your company-issued taser to return the animatronic to a neutral state if you feel that it's becoming unstable or aggressive. You can only use it 3 times before it begins to damage the animatronic and decrease its value. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. You have completed the maintenance checklist and may proceed with the salvage. Well done. End tape.
What a deceptive calling. I knew it was a lie the moment I heard it, obviously, but it is intriguing nonetheless.
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley. We are unsure of its origins. It is your job to complete the maintenance checklist before claiming it as salvage. Or, if you choose to, you can throw it back into the alley where you found it and forfeit payment. Please make your choice now. You have chosen to proceed with the maintenance checklist. Remember, use your company-issued taser to return the animatronic to a neutral state if you feel that it's becoming unstable or aggressive. You can only use it 3 times before it begins to damage the animatronic and decrease its value. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. You have completed the maintenance checklist and may proceed with the salvage. Well done. End tape.
You don't really know who your employer is, do you?
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley. We are unsure of its origins. It is your job to complete the maintenance checklist before claiming it as salvage. Or, if you choose to, you can throw it back into the alley where you found it and forfeit payment. Please make your choice now. You have chosen to proceed with the maintenance checklist. Remember, use your company-issued taser to return the animatronic to a neutral state if you feel that it's becoming unstable or aggressive. You can only use it 3 times before it begins to damage the animatronic and decrease its value. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. Begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. begin audio prompt in 3, 2, 1. Document results. You have completed the maintenance checklist and may proceed with the salvage. Well done. End tape.
Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley. We are unsure of its origins. It is your job to complete the maintenance checklist before claiming it as salvage. Or, if you choose to, you can throw it back into the alley where you found it and forfeit payment. Please make your choice now.
Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Congratulations. Congratulations on completing your work week. We apologize if your situation wasn't presented to you in a completely honest fashion when you first started, but it was important that your intentions and actions be genuine. Here at Fazbear Entertainment, we value fun, family, and food, but more importantly, we value our commitment to atoning for past mistakes and tying up loose ends. Thank you for your participation. There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity. Please accept this certificate of completion. Goodbye for now, and thank you for taking this journey with us.